Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I can just see some people are still joining the webinar, so I'll just give it a few moments to let people join us, and then we'll begin. Right, I'll make a start now. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Giovanna. I'm an admissions coordinator for Bucksmore. If you've been in contact with us previously, you've more than likely received one of my emails before. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be going through the pre-university preparation program. We have several guests joining us today as well. We have the academic and student experience senior manager, Edwina, joining us. And we also have two guest speakers who are tutors on the pre-university program as well. That's Serkan and Connell. They'll be talking about the architecture and medicine programs. So there'll be more on that soon. To start us off, I will play a short video about the program just to give you an overview of what you can expect from the pre-university preparation program.
Giovanna, I think you need to share your audio.
Giovanna?
Oh, did the call drop for a minute?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you should not forget to share the audio as well.
Okay, let me try again. Sorry about that, guys. Let me just try once more. Okay. Let me come out of it. And try sharing again. Let's see. For some reason, it's not letting me choose to share audio. I can see the option button, but it's not letting me share the audio. Okay, what we might have to do then for the purposes of this is I will just go through to the next slide, which is a shame. Sorry about that, guys.
I will send the video as a link.
Perfect, thank you.
Edwina, do you have the presentation as a support? Because I think Giovanna is experiencing some network difficulties.
Yeah, I can have a look at that.
I think we can skip the video and go straight to the slide with the program. And if you can talk us through that.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, so here you can see the different courses that we offer. And as Giovanna said, today we're going to focus on pre-university preparation. So this is aimed at a B2 upper intermediate language level, and the subjects are listed here and as what's available for the course. The pre-university preparation course, there's 23 hours of subject tuition, and most class sizes will be about 8 students. The course will have 2.5 days of excursions every week, and the ages will be between 15 to 18. And these subjects are delivered by our expert tutors, some of whom are here today. And it will be at St Hilda's College, one of the Oxford University colleges in Oxford, of course. And the dates are between the 8th of July to the 5th of August. And this will run for 2 weeks. The price, which includes everything, is £3,195. So during the course, as well as the tutors and the excursions, we also have some other sessions. So one of these are the guest lectures. So every week there'll be a guest lecture, and these are delivered by either a distinguished scholar or an Oxford alumna. And they'll be talking about their academic journey, their current research and professional endeavours. Some of the topics that we've got include creativity and AI. So this will look at human creativity, imagination and innovation, and talk about whether the rise of AI enhances that or threatens it. It's a very interesting and cutting edge topic to discuss. And then we have, excuse me, sorry. And then we have another topic which looks at research in detail. So looking at how research can be a way of exploring your passions and generating new knowledge and really making it a meaningful impact. And there'll be in-depth guidance on how to structure the projects, how to publish findings and influence change. That's just some examples of the guest lectures, but we'll have a different one each week. So we also have university masterclasses. So these are designed to equip students with skills and knowledge needed for a smooth transition into university. We're splitting it into 2. So one part will look at university readiness, and it will help students explore, sorry, I've got a bit of a cold, career pathways, look at university options, decision-making skills. And then the other one will look at specific skills, so academic writing, research techniques, IELTS preparation, presentation skills, things like that. Okay. As mentioned, the tutorials will be small groups, and the benefit of this is that they're very student-centered, and sorry, allow students to collaborate with their peers and build teams.
Sorry, Edwina, apologies. I've been able to join again. Would you like me to take over so you can save your voice?
Yes, please.
Yes. No worries. Apologies for that, guys. Some technical difficulties with my internet connection. Thank you, Edwina. So lastly, we have the Debate Society. So this is also one of the key activities that we provide for our students attending the pre-university program. The debate sessions give the students a chance to explore and discuss a range of topics, typically topics that are trending and are quite hot topics for discussion. The Debate Society encourages the students to develop critical thinking, so to adopt perspectives that maybe they wouldn't otherwise consider, and to explore topics that are quite current and affecting people around the world. It also builds teamwork, leadership, and communication skills. So Edwin, if you wouldn't mind just clicking onto the next one, thank you. We have the formal hall and graduation as well. So at the end of the 2-week or 4-week course, if that's what students opt for, they will have graduation certificates. The certificates also have the St. Hilda's crest on them. So it's just going that extra step further to ensure that this is something that looks quite formal and presentable should they wish to submit it as part of their university applications. Their graduation ceremony will also include a formal dinner at the university, and it just celebrates the end of their summer academic journey. It recognizes all the hard work they've put in and gives them a moment to just come together again and celebrate their efforts on the course. Just trying to go on to the next slide. Oops, sorry, I skipped one. It's moving a bit slowly for me, so I'm trying to give it time to, okay, there we go. So this is the list of subjects that we offer as part of this program. So we have architecture, engineering and the built environment, business and finance, computer science, economics, history, which is a new subject we're offering this year, as well as law, mathematics, medicine, physics, and psychology. To give you a glimpse of what timetables would be like throughout a 2-week program. So Tuesdays are always our arrivals and departure days. So in this instance, for week 1, on Tuesday, students will be arriving throughout the day. They'll have activities set up during the day to make sure that they're mingling and making friends straight away. On Wednesday, you can see they have a half-day excursion, in this case, to go to Christchurch College. On Thursday, they have a full-day excursion in London. So this includes the walking tour as well as a tour of Buckingham Palace. I was very fortunate to go on this tour last summer with the students, and it is phenomenal. I've lived in the UK for almost 10 years, and this was the first time I went, and honestly, it was an incredible experience. In the evening, you can see throughout the week, we have activities for the students to take part in. And on Sunday, you can see we have another full-day excursion to Bath. So we're trying to give students that perspective and immersion into other areas of the UK as well, not just the city that they will be based in for their course. And you can also see that obviously subject tutorials and master classes, as well as a debate society that we mentioned earlier, is featured throughout the week as well. For week 2, so once again, on Tuesdays, it's arrivals at St. Hilda's. The students for pre-university and the intensive English course will be sharing the site. So for intensive English, they can book just 1-week slots if they wanted to. So that's why on Tuesdays, we keep it quite chill and minimal so that students that are staying with us, in the case of pre-university, they get a day to sort of relax, catch up on their studies, that sort of thing. Again, as we mentioned, we get 2.5 excursions every week. So in this case, there's a walking tour on Wednesday. There's a full-day excursion to Cambridge on Thursday. And then on Sunday, we have the Windsor walking tour, as well as a tour of Windsor Castle. So again, this is just to give students an experience of what life is like in the UK and visiting various historic sites. These timetables are subject to change. This is just to give you an idea of what the 2 weeks could be like, ending with the formal hall graduation and party on the Monday, as you can see there. Just waiting for it to go to the next slide. Right, so next, I would like to introduce you to our first guest speaker. So Serkan has taught with us before, and he is a tutor on the architecture program. Serkan, the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Joanna. My name is Serkan. I'm an architect and a heritage professional, and I've been doing this with Bucksmore for the last, I can't remember now, 2019 we started, I think. We had a break for the COVID period, but since then I've been participating in these summer courses. And I recently finished my PhD in Oxford, so it was also a nice setup for me to participate in these classes. In architecture courses, also before that one, I also have been teaching in design, architecture, and creative industries courses for a while. And primarily my area of expertise is also foundation years. So this was a good fit from the beginning from my side. And for the courses that we cover, it also depends on the groups that we receive every year. But primarily, it's an introduction to design, basic design subjects that takes place over the course of the time that they spend with Bucksmore in Oxford. And we touch base on theory, history of architecture, principles of design. Again, some students wants to continue with their studies in engineering subjects, so we also look into some similar subjects between architecture and engineering. Built environment is also a big part of our discussions throughout our lectures and theories. We touch base on different kinds of new technologies. It's also a part of my area of expertise, the architectural visualization, digital technologies. So I also try to give them some overview about these subjects, these new emerging subjects. We've also been doing some technical drawing exercises, basic drafting exercises, which I pleasantly saw that the students are also very much interested in these type of subjects. Bucksmore provides them with the necessary tools. I also advise on them every year, depending on the student group, what to purchase and as part of our class exercises, what needs to be done. We also had exercises to improve their representation skills, which is a big part of architectural and design education, especially in addition to these technical drawings, they also have a chance to develop their freehand skills, drawing skills, representation skills. Within these 4 weeks, some students stays 1, 2, or depending on the group. I also gave them a couple of interesting exercises that we all produce within the class. Some of them was a tree house, a design of a building facade, an exhibition area design. So things like this, similar to what they would probably have in their first year of design education if they want to continue in architecture or related subjects. And we usually end up having some sort of a presentation, whether it's a model or a poster or a drawing that they produce throughout these lecture series and tutorials. They also get to share with each other their work at the end, and they also have some idea of what architectural presentations, which is a big part of their education, it will be, can be. And it also gives them a chance to include into their portfolios the projects that we produce. Many of the cases, the students want to take them with them. Some of them were large scale things, even though they wanted to take them with them. So it was a nice memorial for some of them. So in recent years, we also touched base in relevant discussions around architecture in terms of sustainability, experimental design, the inclusion of AI, which could be something interesting to explore with this year group as well. So all these new discussions around architectural education and relevant subjects are also part of our class exercises and tutorial subjects. So I always try to bring some recent discussions around this as well. And basically, they have an overview throughout their stay with Bucksmore. What could be what could they expect in the first year of their design education in architectural design or relevant subjects? And again, depending on the students group, because more or less at the beginning, I try to understand their aim from from these tutorials. So I try to tailor their needs as well. If they need to improve their skills on certain subjects, we look into this more specifically. And being in smaller groups also helps. In some cases, there are always exhibitions or events happening. As much as I can take them out throughout their stay, it was also possible to take them to these kind of events and exhibitions over the last 5, 6 years with Bucksmore. Um, I think I've covered the topics that I had in mind, and if further questions will be there, I'll be happy to answer those. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Serkan. Just trying to get onto the next slide. So for the medicine course, we have Connell here with us, who will be talking to us a little bit more about his experience as a tutor for that course. Connell, take it away.
Excellent. So I'm just going to share my screen, so people should be able to see this come up now. Let's have a look. Okay, everybody should be able to see my screen. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes,
So, thank you everyone for coming today. So, and thank you for the introduction. So my name's Connell. I have tutored with Bucksmore last year, and I'm going to be returning for the AUPP for this year. I'm currently a student at Balliol College in Oxford, studying medicine, and will be graduating this year with my bachelor's in medical sciences. I'm returning to Oxford both as a tutor for the preclinical students, and as a clinical student in the hospitals around Oxford. So I have over 4 years of teaching experience with students from ages 15 to 18, now teaching at university level. And 3 years of that experience is been in particular with helping students with medical school admissions in the UK. We've had a great year this year. I've been working with some of the independent schools in Oxford in helping them to secure students securing their successful applications into medical schools around the UK, including Oxford and Cambridge this year. And my work throughout the year teaching is quite focused on personal statements, interviews, and admissions tests. And so I have a really good understanding of what it is that universities are looking for and how best to help students develop those skills that are required for a successful university admission. And my particular interests within medicine are within radiology and psychiatry. So the Bucksmore AUPP within medicine is quite a comprehensive course, and I think that that's particularly important within medicine in that we do lots of scientific learning within the practicals, within the classes that we do, but also the master classes are tailored towards that, developing those personal skills. And some of the group work that students will be doing develops those personal skills, that confidence in communication, that's very, very important for medical admissions. In terms of the highlights and what to expect from the medicine AUPP course, is that we have several hours of lectures per week, including some practical classes. And as part of the medicine AUPP, students will produce an essay on a topic of their choosing. Historically, I've produced around 10 essays that students can choose from to write. But actually, last year we had some students coming in with real particular interests that they had from outside of the course, and so I was more than happy for students to write those essays. And so we had some outstanding essays last year on things like Alzheimer's disease and cancer therapy. As part of the AUPP, students will complete a group research project within medicine where they will be accessing the primary literature to kind of develop those scientific reading skills that can be challenging. And I think that gives them an excellent opportunity to be exposed to that kind of high level English, and also to practice working as part of a team to solve a problem. And then towards the end of the course, the students present these, and we had some fantastic essays or fantastic presentations last year on things like cardiovascular disease and epilepsy. Students, as part of the course, get to investigate their own physiology by learning to use medical equipment. And so I taught a class last year on cardiovascular physiology. And that involved students taking manual readings of blood pressure from each other, listening to the hearts for and identifying the different valve sounds. And then when we did respiratory physiology, taking breath sounds and things like that. And also within medicine, we students will take part in debates outside of that large masterclass setting, and that allows us to focus on particularly pressing issues within medicine and medical ethics. And so students will consider some really quite challenging situations, and how we might be able to use ethical frameworks to be able to decide, or perhaps legislative frameworks to be able to decide what the best option is to do in a particular situation. I think that's particularly important for students applying to UK medical schools, for those who would be likely sitting the UCAT exam and have to discuss these kind of issues at interview as well. Overall, I think the course provides such amazing personal development for students, and we had such great increases in confidence, and also students being confident in wanting to study medicine now, in terms of we get to expose them to lots and lots of different areas within medical science. And so we'll be covering some anatomical learning using virtual anatomy models. We will be doing physiology learning, including them doing experiments. We're going to learn about different types of pathologies, and also exposing them to things that are beyond what they would be expected to learn in their A-level equivalents, through subjects like embryology that aren't covered at sixth form and colleges. So the teaching within pre-medicine on the Bucksmore AUPP includes this kind of lecture and tutorial style teaching. I think the small groups at Bucksmore are excellent in terms of me being able to pitch the lessons both to a level of difficulty that enables me to stretch them, but without making the lessons too difficult and inaccessible. And also it allows me to change the lessons to the topics that students want to learn. So the curriculum that I teach is based off of what you might learn in your first year at medical school. And actually the amount of topics is so broad that students will be able to learn what interests them most. We do some practical work as part of this, which will involve them kind of exploring human and animal tissues using a microscope and learning to do that, and learning to take clinical measurements from each other and perform some basic clinical tests. The students will produce their own essay, independently planning and writing that essay, to be able to get some feedback on their scientific writing, and also allow them to delve a lot deeper into a topic of particular interest. And then also students will produce group work throughout the course, including this group research project where they'll be presenting their findings to their peers to kind of develop their verbal communication skills, and also develop those key skills of scientific reading. So as before, if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Connell. I'll just go back to sharing my screen and get back to our slides. Right, I go back to presenting and just swap these around. Right, can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic, thank you. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the campus that the students will be on. So as mentioned, they will be at St. Hilda's College, which is part of the University of Oxford. This university campus is absolutely stunning. I've been there myself, and I can tell you firsthand that it looks just as nice as that picture makes it look. The students attending pre-university will also be sharing the campus with students that are there for the intensive English courses. For pre-university, the students will be in single rooms. They'll be in flats of approximately 12 students each with their own single room, sharing approximately 4 bathrooms amongst themselves. We do have an auditorium, as we mentioned, for the graduation ceremonies. We have sports fields nearby as well, which is an excellent resource for the activities that we have running throughout the week. And we have on-site hunting, which is a fantastic activity to do and quite classic at that part of the university. We have 24 hours porter's lodge, as well as an extra layer of security and safety for our students. These are some pictures of what the accommodation looks like. So you can see the actual building that they'd be staying in and some examples of the rooms. Some of the rooms pictured here are twin rooms, but as I mentioned, the students would be staying in single rooms. So these rooms can be adapted to be single as well. There's a canteen on site. So students have their 3 meals a day at this canteen. I've had the food at the canteen as well, and can attest to the fact that it is very, very nice. On excursion days, they'll have a packed lunch, but otherwise their 3 meals will be served at the canteen. We wanted to take the opportunity of this webinar to also highlight our online tuition offering. So this complements the pre-university program really well. So for students that would just like that extra bit of tuition, this could be whether they're taking GCSE or IGCSE, IB, A-level, or looking at university admissions tests, we would be able to facilitate some online tuition for that as well. So if that is something that you think your students would be interested in, please do get in touch and we'd be happy to facilitate that. We can offer subject-specific tuition as well. So if there's a particular topic that they would like extra revision on, please do get in touch and we'd be happy to facilitate that. In terms of our team, obviously you've met me now, I'm Giovanna. But this is the rest of our team, and we each have our own email addresses depending on the region that we cover. So if you're ever unsure of who to contact, because I appreciate it's a lot of different email addresses, please do just email us at info@Bucksmore. So that's info@bucksmore.com, and we'll then be able to pass on the email to the relevant member of staff. So if you're ever unsure, info@bucksmore.com is your best bet. In terms of next steps, so if you are an agent with us, you will probably heard of the Dropbox that we have. This QR code on the screen will take you directly to the Dropbox that includes our latest brochure and other marketing materials. If you have an application or if you have an interest in putting in an application with us, please do go on our website. You can apply directly online. There is an option to pay the £500 deposit as well as part of submitting the application. We have a PDF application form as well as an alternative should that be needed. If you have any questions, anything that we haven't covered, obviously do get in touch with us. And I do believe we still have some time for a Q&A as well, so we can answer some of your questions here. We also have the option of signing up to an agent newsletter for you to keep in touch with any future events, such as the webinar and any new announcements regarding our courses, pre-arrivals, that sort of thing. So yeah. Thank you so much for listening. I'll just check to see if we have any questions. I can't see any. Oh, okay. Could you please talk about your law and psychology options? So thank you, Mark, for that question. So with regards to our law and psychology courses, those are courses that we would be offering as part of pre-university. For specific information regarding those, we are able to offer you course overview documents that specifically give you insight into the content of those classes. So we would be happy to provide those for you. If you get in touch with us, we'd be more than happy to provide those. With regards to excursions for the medicine course, so the excursions would be for the whole pre-university program, like we showed on the timetable. Those would be excursions that they would all go on together. But perhaps, Connell, could you tell us a little bit more about maybe some are there any sort of activities that the students engage with besides just the theory of the course? Is there anything that you could add that would bring in or would make that aspect of the course come to life a little bit?
So we do offer like practical work as part of the Bucksmore AUPP for medicine, but that's delivered within the centre, or has historically been delivered within the centre. There are opportunities as part of the course that if students would like to go out and visit particular places, that may be able to be arranged. Thinking about things that are within Oxford, unfortunately, the medical school in Oxford is very, very strict about visitations and that kind of thing. But for example, the local museums around Oxford, in terms of the History of Science Museum, we would be more than happy to be able to take students over there, where you can learn about things like the development of vaccines, and how our models of human physiology have changed over time. But yeah, all of the students, including the medics, will be on the group excursions. But there is opportunity, although it's relatively limited, for students to go out on some trips specifically for medicine. I did take a couple of students last year who were particularly interested in visiting Oxford, or studying in Oxford, sorry. Because I'm a current student here, I have access to the university buildings, and I did take a couple of students on a college tour that were particularly interested in applying to Oxford.
Perfect. Thank you, Connell. An anonymous attendee has asked, what kind of equipment will students get to use on the architecture course? Serkan, would you be able to offer some insight into that for us, please?
Yes, it's primarily basic drafting and representation kind of material. Some students surprisingly brought their works with them, sketchbooks or any kind of representation tools. But I did provide them materials throughout these years. Primarily, they were for them to produce technical drawings or drawings, particularly a sketchbook, and any kind of representation tool, the markers, drawing tools, pencils, these kind of things. And as I said, some students were more interested in the technical drawings, so they were able to do that with the materials that we provided as well. They were sharing, it was a small group, so it was not a problem. And for the model making exercises, they were using basically model making tools within the safety requirements, obviously. And there were some upcycling works as well, but we used some leftover materials to produce these works. But most of the students did not come with their tools, so we provided them previously with their stay, so it wasn't a problem.
Thank you very much, Serkan. Just a follow-up to that, because I know someone else asked a question that might be related. In terms of digital equipment, so a laptop, tablet, iPad, phone, are students required to have any of those for either architecture or medicine? Or would it just be a case of everything's provided as is needed?
I think a couple of students had their tablets with them, which some of the exercise, because I was taking them out in the Oxford to do some still life drawing exercises within the city. Some of the students tried to do that with their tablet computers or iPads, but it was not a necessity. I was providing them required tools. But it could be a good option if they want to improve their skills from these digital technologies.
I would say that for the medicine AUPP, some form of essentially note-taking would be advised. So I'm absolutely happy for students to take paper notes, absolutely happy for students to take digital notes if that's what they would prefer. I think for the research and presentation, I think a laptop would be helpful, and certainly for the essay writing, a laptop would be helpful but not required. I'm more than happy for students to write paper essays, and then if they have some form of internet access where they're able to read and do their research, it doesn't necessarily have to be a laptop.
And sorry, Giovanna, but just to follow on from what Connor was saying, that sort of applies to all of the courses really. If they have a laptop or a tablet, it would be great if they could bring it, because it would enhance their learning journey, just as he said, in terms of research, or if there are for presentations and things like that, but it's not a necessity.
Perfect, thank you guys. Someone has asked, are the prices for 1 week or 2? So the price that was on the slide at the start, that is for 1 week. So yeah, so there would be double that for the full 2 weeks, but that pricing includes everything except the cost of visas, flights, and any pocket money that the students would be bringing for shopping and things like that. So that's a good question, thank you. Jarek has asked, could you show the page with dates of courses once again, please? So the dates, the start date is the 8th of July. They can start on the 8th or the 22nd of July. So those would be the 2 start dates. And as I mentioned, they can opt to attend all 4 weeks. They can take the same subject for 4 weeks, and our tutors would be able to adapt the content so that they are getting new content throughout the 4 weeks. Or they can opt for taking one subject for 2 weeks and another subject for another 2 weeks. It is entirely up to them. Are there any other questions? I can't see any other questions, so I think that's it. I'd just like to thank Serkan, Connell, and Edwina one more time for joining us today, and apologize for the technical difficulties at the start, everybody. Thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate your time in joining us today. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Perfect. Thanks, Giovanna.